Greg Shoemaker, TriStateFootball.com, here at Lebanon High School with the Warriors head coach, Shawn Lamb. And Shawn enters his 10th season as the Warriors head coach. And Shawn, I mean, boy, what a great year it looks like it could be for you guys, because you got a lot of talent coming back.
We do, and you know, you can't substitute for experience. And we've got 10 starters back on defense, 6 starters back on offense, including 3 offensive linemen that started as sophomores, and a running back that's pretty special in Mitch Turpin. So things are looking good for the Warriors. You know, we obviously have to stay healthy, but coaches are excited and the players are really excited, because I think they realize that we're on the verge of something special.
Yeah, and the other thing, when you look at your program, your freshman team went 9-1 last year. You got to really feel good about where everything's going as far as the next man up and the next group up, don't you?
Well, you sure do. It starts with our feeder program. Lebanon Youth Football is one of the best around. Great coaches, great players, and that carries through our junior high and our high school programs. And you know, here we just try to reload and not rebuild. And our freshmen did a fantastic job last year. I'll tell you why they did it. They dedicated themselves to the weight room and summer workouts. Just this past week, 8th through 12th grade, we had 107 kids in our weight room, and that was during winter season. So there was a lot of kids that we didn't have because of winter sports. So the numbers are there, and we're building, and as you saw earlier, we've got some talented young men.
Yeah, and you know, when you look at the GWAC South, you really need a lot of talent. Look at how well or how much better this league is now compared to when you started there. The depth, I mean, there's possibly 3 teams in the GWAC South that could make the playoffs in 2014. Talk about the competition in the South.
Well, there's no question right now. Springborough's at the top, and until someone knocks them off, then they're going to stay there. But Ryan Wilhite, their coach, does a fantastic job. They've got athletes. They're very similar to Lebanon. If you go back the last 6-7 years, you're going to see games that went into overtime, games that were won by 1 point, games that, you know, changed on one play. And the last 2 years, unfortunately, we were on the wrong side of that. So, you know, when you look at Miamisburg, they've got a lot of size and speed. Coach Chanel's really gotten things turned around there. They made the playoffs last year after we beat them. So that just shows you the parity in our league. Xenia's always dangerous. Fairborn's always dangerous because they're going to have some athletes. And then at West Carrollton, you know, that they've been down a couple of years, but traditionally West Carrollton has made runs of a few years, and I look for them to do that. But I think the biggest thing about the GWAC South is not just our competition with each other. You look at who we're going out and playing and going out and beating and competing with. And I think that separates us from maybe the GWAC South 6-7 years ago.
Hey, and you talk about Xenia. That's a team that's beat you guys a couple of times. What is it about? Because when you before the game starts, everybody's like, okay, Lebanon should win this. What is it about them that they line up so well, match up so well against you guys?
Boy, if we knew the answer to that, then we wouldn't have that issue. You know, Coach does a great job at Xenia, and they've got really good athletes. And the one thing I'll say about Xenia kids, they don't read the papers and realize that they're not supposed to win. And you know, that says something for itself. And for some reason, that game has just, you know, it's come up and bit us. And quite frankly, I think twice it's kept us out of the playoffs. But like I said, Coach DeLong does an outstanding job there. And every year, because of those athletes, they're dangerous, and they can beat you on any given night. So we know that we have to be ready to play in order to get them on that Friday night.
Your schedule, non-conference schedule, you obviously will play Kings, a rivalry game, Loveland, a rivalry game. Talk about 2014, who's on the schedule, why do you like what you've got, and, you know, is it too tough in order to make a run at the playoffs?
Well, as I mentioned before, 5 of our first 6 games are playoff teams. 2 were in state championship games. We love our opener, the Boomerang Bowl with Kings. They're a neighbor, a rival. Coach Olds and his program is very similar to my program here. And again, last year we won by 2 points, 3 points, and it was a very, very tough game. Followed by Loveland, again another rival, and obviously you saw what they did last year with the state championship team, and then we go right into Centerville, a power in Dayton, and then we go to Greenville. We have to travel to Greenville, and then we get to come home and play Trotwood. So we're our model this year is right here, right now, and because we don't have time to get better, we've got to be at our best to start. So if we're successful the first part of the season, I like our chances at making a run for the playoffs. But we're going to have to be put through the gauntlet the first few weeks to stay healthy. So it's one of those that if you're able to conquer it, you're much better off. But it's going to be a dogfight all the way through.
You're from Franklin, and Chad Murphy from Franklin is at Hamilton. Rodney Roberts is a Franklin guy. He's at Centerville now. What is it about those guys? What is it about you guys, and why are Franklin players coming out and becoming such successful coaches?
Well, I think it has to do with where we came from. We were very fortunate to play for Coach John Argood, and the type of program that he ran, I think really laid the groundwork for all of us in the programs that we run today. And we were successful. And when you have success, you breed success, and we just loved the game of football, and we were fortunate to play in that time, in that era. And I would say this for the other two guys. I know for myself, physically, I didn't have all the tools, but I was a very cerebral player. I understood the game. I wanted to learn the game and eventually coach the game. And I know, speaking for Rodney and Chad, they would tell you the same thing. But it was due to great experiences that we had starting at Franklin under great coaches. And, it just made us want to be like our high school coaches. And we'd emulate Argood and some of the other guys, not just football, but other coaches that we had. I'm thinking Tom Benjamin was my basketball coach. Doug Long was my baseball coach. And I know that a couple of the other guys played for those coaches as well. And you wanted to be someone like that. You wanted to be someone that could make a difference and for kids to look up to. And hopefully at the end of the day, when they come back 15, 20 years from now and they have families of their own, your former players will come back and thanks, Coach. I appreciate everything you did for me. That's a true reward.
All right, one last question before I let you go. In your 10 years that you've been here, what's the one thing you're most proud of with where the program is now as compared to it was when you took it over?
Our kids. We have great, I call them Lebanon kids. They are Lebanon kids, but I refer to them as Lebanon kids because they're fine young men. They're yes sir, no sir. They do their work in the classroom. They don't act up in the community. And, these are the kind of guys that you trust with your daughter. And we have a good time with them, and we don't have to deal with some of the issues that I'm sure other coaches and other schools do. And our kids buy into what we're doing, and that makes it very special for me because I feel like, when you have that as a program, those kids are going to go on, be successful in life and be great citizens. And that's the one thing I'm proud of, that as I look back someday, I'm going to be able to say that, hey, we had some great young men play for us and develop into men and become better people for it. So I'm very blessed at where I'm at and what I'm able to work with.
There you go. Head coach Shawn Lamb of the Lebanon Warriors. Look for them to make quite a run in 2014.